Hello and welcome to another step-by-step how to tie tutorial video. This is Lady Drake number 8. This is a basic green drake nymph pattern. This is tied on a size 10 Mustad 6886 hook. I am using a olive colored 8/0 thread. The tail and gills, the legs, are fake eyelashes. So that's where we get the lady, and we get the drake from the pattern, and the number 8 is the dubbing. This is a olive colored rabbit hair dubbing labeled as number 8, and that's all that I have for packaging on that. The ribbing on there is a Sulky's Holoshimmer in gold. This is a lot of fun to tie with. I really like the way that looks when it comes out. The thorax is a mix 50-50 between olive ostrich and peacock herl. Wing casing, I am using this beautiful green hopper Ozark turkey. And for a little weight underneath it all, I add a few wraps of lead wire. So let's go ahead and remove our sample. We can secure our hook in the vise. And we'll go ahead and start this off with wraps of our wire. And I'm going to start this off doing counter wraps. And I do this so when I start my thread base, it won't split it all open. I'm using a 010 because I don't want to add too much weight to this. Alright, that's our start. And we'll begin this with our first wrap of thread, like all good flies. A couple of wraps up there to keep it from going forward. And we'll just take a few wraps over top and lock it in behind. Trim off our tying thread. We'll take a couple more passes over the lead, really getting that locked down. And I'm going to take the flat part of my scissors and give that a slight squeeze. Alright, at this time I am going to add my tail, which is this black eyelash. And after some experimenting, I decided this was an appropriate length that I really liked. Here we go, we're going to tie that in right behind that lead. Run that along the shank to the bend. Making sure that's on top, and I like the way it looks with the fibers kind of curled up. Take my thread forward. I'm going to tie in my ribbing, this golden Sulky's Holoshimmer. I'll go ahead and just slide that down to length. We're going to tie this all the way to the rear. Alright, let's go ahead and add a little bit of wax. And a little bit of dubbing. As we all know, a little bit of dubbing goes a long way. Less is more. So we'll go ahead and get a nice little tight dubbing noodle. You can always add more. Okay, take it to the rear and work it forward, slowly building up a taper. I have to add just a touch more. So I want to take this rear portion of the body into the thorax, which will be about halfway into that lead. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and do some counter wraps with our ribbing. I'm going to do one full wrap at the rear, then I can space this out nice and even. Whenever I can, I really like to keep the material I'm using on the bobbin. I feel it gives me a little bit more control, but that's the way I like to do it. I'll go ahead and secure that down. We got a couple random stray hairs. We'll go ahead and get those out of the way right away. Alright, let's do our wing casing. How I like to do it is I just take my scissors, I cut my desired width. I like to go a little bit thicker on this, and then I can just slide the whole thing away. Alright, so I have a pattern side and a non-pattern side. I'm going to tie the non-pattern side down, right on top. That way when I fold it over, I do get a little bit of that pattern. It's not much, this adds just a little bit of flavor to that wing case. Trim off the tip. And before we go too far, I'm just going to fold it over once, take a look at it. I think that's going to be fantastic. Alright, let's tie in our Peacock Herl and our olive ostrich. I have two little pieces here. We'll go ahead and line up the tips and tie those in. Okay, so now when I palmer these forward, I'm going to do touching wraps, and I want the Peacock Herl to lead in front. And I want this ostrich, the olive, to come in second place behind it. I think it does make a little bit of a difference the way it goes on with the longer ostrich. Kind of sticks out a little bit further because the herls are definitely two different lengths. I think that's why I like the look of this. I like the iridescence of the peacock, and I get the length of the ostrich. I'll go ahead and trim that off. And we're going to tie in our legs or gills or whatever you want to call them. This will just line up here on the side. I'm just going to do one eyelash on either side, or one bunch of eyelashes. That looks good. And what's nice about these is they're really easy to work with. As if we need another reason to go to the beauty supply store. I picked these up as a impulse purchase when I was buying streamer hair. Alright, let's go ahead and trim off our excess. And at this time we can fold the wing case forward and secure that down. Nice and flat, nice and even. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to build up a little bit of a head here on the front. I'm going to take my black Pro marker, it's alcohol based, and I'm going to color my thread black because I want to add a black head to the front. This thread is singing to me today. Alright, once we're satisfied with that, I'm going to do a little bit more, just for the whip finish. Alright, we give it the old 1, 2, 3 whip finish. 1, 2, 3. Alright, finish everything off. We're going to give this a nice, solid, shiny black head. For that, I'm going to use my Loon Clear. This is the thin. Just a little touch. That'll get into those threads a little bit. Alright, give it the zap with the light. Really like the way that head comes out. I'm tempted to trim that off, but I'm going to resist the temptation and just fold it up a little bit. Alright, there you have it, folks. That is the Lady Drake number 8, tied on a size 10 hook. I'll leave it up like that. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. Happy tying. And with this guy, tight lines.